So today we're talking about preparation, setting up the conditions your body needs to adapt smoothly on a ketogenic diet. This video is about how to organize your environment so the metabolic shift you're making is supported, predictable, and sustainable. Because keto doesn't work by motivation, it works by signals. And one of the strongest signals your body receives every day comes from the food that's available to you. Your body responds to what's consistently around you, not what you intend to eat. If high carbohydrate foods, hidden sugars, or processed oils are readily available, they continue to send mixed metabolic signals, even if your carbohydrate intake is lower. So when the environment supports the physiology, the transition goes much smoother. That's why we set this up before tightening our numbers. Let's start with what no longer supports this metabolic shift. You don't need to throw everything away all at once, but these are the categories to move out of your immediate environment. Anything that's really sweet or has a lot of sugar. Here's some leftover chocolates from the holidays. I'm going to get rid of those. Anything like cakes, cookies, pies, ice cream. You want to get rid of refined grains like crackers, bread, and even oatmeal. You want to get rid of ultra-processed snacks like anything, chips, pretzels, tortilla chips, anything that's highly processed. And this is a big one, foods made with industrial seed oil. So this is the double whammy, my husband's sweet cream. Okay, it not only has sugar in it. I don't think this one has cane sugar. It has carrageenan, but it does not have the seed oils. A lot of them will say contains heavy cream, but when you look in the back, they also contain soybean oil. For much of my keto life, I came home and had peanut butter every day. You got to read the labels. Now, peanut has its own peanut oil. Why would you need to add other oil? But this particular brand adds palm oil and fully hydrogenated vegetable oils, rapeseed oil and soybean oil. Nuts aren't inherently bad. It's when they roast them in the soybean oil. So what you want to look for if you're having peanut butter, one ingredient peanut butter made from peanuts. My personal brand is Smucker's Natural Organic. I don't do that on carnivore, but for 6 years I did it on keto. Other foods that are made with industrial seed oils, mayo is a big one. Mayo is a great keto food. We're not afraid of fat on keto, but in this particular one, it's again, it says real mayonnaise, but it's made with soybean oil and unnecessary. Now, there's a brand chosen, but there's many out there. Look for ones that are made with avocado and olive oil. And you still have to check the brands because this regular store-bought brands that we grew up with will say they put it's made with olive oil, and it is. They put a little bit in, but they still put canola or soybean oil in there. So you really have to read the labels. If you're getting tuna, which you're thinking you're getting a good food, get it packed in water. Don't get it packed in oil. If it is oil, make sure it's not soybean oil or canola oil. Make sure it's just olive oil. Read the ingredients list. It matters here. Removing these foods reduces conflicting signals and makes ketone production more consistent. That right there, removing these seed oils, lowers your inflammation and your liver will thank you. Now let's talk about what does belong. This way of eating is built on whole foods that provide protein, fat, and micronutrients in the form your body recognizes. Let's talk about protein first. Some staples are beef. I don't have any other ground beef, but what I'll do is get a big pack of ground beef and I mix in beef ground. It's called primal ground beef from a company, Dirty Dog Farms. and it has heart and organ meat in it. So when you mix that up in other ground beef, you don't really even know it. And I'll make chili or burgers out of that. Chicken is great. I do a whole chicken all the time. And then whatever's left over, I'll put in my husband's salad, again, because he's keto. I don't have salad, but that's an option. We do chicken wings. Again, we're not afraid of fat. Chicken thighs. I eat the skin. I eat all the skin. Chicken thighs are my favorite now. I used to just eat white meat before, and now I'm eating wings and the chicken thighs, and I make an amazing stock from that. Most of the time, not all the time, but is bacon. And I just want to, if you look on my channel, I do a ton of hauls. I do them for keto and I have done them for carnivore. So you can get lots of ideas from there. Don't forget about tuna. It's an excellent source. Have bone broth. This is great. Keep your electrolytes up and you don't get the keto flu. Greek yogurt. I use Faye, and then this is organic skyr. You want to get full fat dairy, whether it's heavy cream, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. So I can do dairy. Even on carnivore, I do dairy. I don't have a problem with dairy. I have dairy every day. And honestly, still being able to have my Greek yogurt really makes carnivore doable for me. You can do different cheeses. You want to get minimally processed cheese. If you look up my leucine video, I tell you there's some great hard cheeses that are very high in leucine, and Gouda is one of them. I'll also for breakfast sometimes have, besides bacon, is a turkey sausage that I get from Target. It's very clean. Canadian bacon if I'm doing a protein modified sparing day. And I will do the Egg Life wraps as well. If I want to add extra protein, if I add 2 of these wraps, they are only 1 gram of carbs, but for 2 wraps actually. And you're adding 11 grams of protein. So in addition to the eggs and the bacon or whatever else I'm having for breakfast. I usually get the pasture-raised eggs. I eat so many of them. I want them to be high quality. I do pork. I do pork loin, pulled pork. This I just stuck in a pressure cooker, and salt and pepper, any kind of seasonings you want. And I'll have that alongside my eggs as well. Or I'll make a wrap. And again, I'm using the Egg Life wraps, so I'm having egg white wraps, some pulled pork, and some egg and some cheese in there. So I usually get about my typical breakfast is like 3 eggs, 4 pieces of bacon, and a third to a half a cup of cottage cheese, which is almost 600 calories versus the small amount of oatmeal I used to eat with skim milk before, sugar-free. I don't know, but that's how it works. Let's see. I don't have a lot of beef on hand today, but just the ones with the organ meat. But I will do a pot roast. I will do any kind of beef I can get my hands on. It's a little expensive right now, but I look for sales, and I have 2 fillets in there from before. I was getting good price on ribeyes during the summer. Hopefully it'll come down a little bit. We'll also get these haddock fillets. They're delicious. They're wild caught. And I just put brown butter on them and a little bit of seasoning. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. So remember, protein is your staple. Gives you all the foundation for your building blocks. And then eat the fat that comes with your protein. It helps you absorb the protein and use it in your body. So now that we cut the carbs, let's talk about fats, because fat is now the primary fuel source. So quality matters. Supportive fats include butter or ghee, tallow and lard. I have those little brown jars is my bacon fat. I don't have tallow. I have tons of different kinds of olive oil. And you want to look for one source olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. These are all good. You want to avoid or minimize seed oils. That includes soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, and safflower oils, or any processed foods made with those. And when buying items like we said, mayonnaise and dressings, you have to check the ingredients. If it's made with seed oils, it's not supporting your metabolic goal. Your liver is not going to heal as long as they're on board. So let's talk about dairy. If dairy works well for you, keep it simple, full fat. Heavy cream, cream cheese, full fat yogurt, full fat cottage cheese, cheese. Dairy is optional, but when included, it should support satiety and energy, not cravings. You can also do nuts and fruits. And I just want a word of caution. Some foods fit, but others require awareness. Nuts, choose raw or dry roasted. Anything roasted in oils, they're usually using the bad oils like soybean oil. They're easy to overeat. And remember, calories still matter. So consider them a treat as a small addition, not a foundation. With fruit, I want you to focus on berries. They're full of fiber and less grams of carbohydrates. Use intentionally. Put them on a little bit of that Greek yogurt. Think of fruit as a carbohydrate source because it is. And then as far as vegetables are concerned, any of the cruciferous vegetables like cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower are lower in carbs. You can do asparagus. You can do any vegetable. I mean, if you love carrots, they're higher in carbs. You just have to count them in your total carbohydrates for that day. So maybe you're not going to have Greek yogurt because you're making your favorite carrot recipe tonight, and you just count them accordingly. This isn't about avoidance. It's about understanding how foods behave metabolically. So let's talk about setting up a dedicated space. If you live with others who don't eat this way, this matters even more. Create a dedicated area. It could be a shelf in the refrigerator or a particular cabinet. It could be a drawer. This space contains your foods, the foods that support your metabolic goal. That simple boundary reduces friction and decision fatigue. One thing I want to say very clearly, this is good food. As you begin eating whole foods consistently, taste perception changes. Foods become more satisfying, and many people notice they begin to crave these foods again, not because of restriction, but because the body will recognize the nourishment. That's a physiological response, not willpower. Now that you've been tracking, this step becomes much easier. You already know where carbs are coming from, which foods support ketone production, which foods don't. This is how tracking turns into strategy. Okay, let's talk about the action step from this video. I want you to remove foods that don't support the metabolic shift from your immediate environment. Stock your kitchen with protein, supportive fats, and whole foods. Create a dedicated space for your keto foods. No guessing, no pressure, just clear signals. In the next video, we're going to put the numbers to this. We're going to talk about total carbs versus net carbs. How many carbohydrates to start with, how to choose a range your body can adapt to, and how macros work together in real life. This is where execution begins.